This is part 2 of similar polygons. We were ready for the second example to determine if the figures were similar. So we do the first check. Are corresponding angles congruent? Well, Z and H are congruent, Y and G are congruent, but if you notice, there is no measurements for W and X. And since we can't tell what measurement they are, we have no clue if they are corresponding angles or the same measure. So it's a no. Corresponding angles, not congruent. We can also, we don't have any lengths of sides, then we don't know that they're proportional. So the figures are not similar, not similar. And finally, the last one. Again, we're going to check the angles. Angle N and H are congruent, M and G are congruent, but we don't know the measure of L and K, E and F. Since we cannot tell if the angles are congruent, we're going to assume that they're not. So corresponding angles not congruent. And if you check the ratio as corresponding sides, well, one pair is 2.5 over 2.5. That reduces down to 1. But the next pair is 6.4 over 9.6. They do not equal each other. So corresponding sides are not proportional. So that means that the figures are not similar. Both conditions have to be true for them to be similar. And finally, the last thing for today, we're going to look at how we can use ratios and proportions to solve, find values of some of the sides. These particular, where there are two figures there, one is embedded inside the other, the two trapezoids. And if you can look, you can see how the sides are going to match up. EF and AB are the short sides. DG and DC are the longest sides, and those are the parallel sides. And then X and 7.5. And then the DE and the DA are matching or corresponding sides. So step 1, they ask us to calculate the scale factor. So you find a pair of sides where you have both numbers. Since these two match, it will be DE and DA. And I have decided to put the small figure over the large figure. So DE is length 6, DA is length 9. If I reduce that, it reduces down to 2/3, so my scale factor is 2 to 3. And then it asks us to use that to find the value of each variable. So every pair of corresponding sides are in the same ratio, 2 to 3. So that means 2 to 3 is the same as Y to 5. And I'm putting the Y on top because it comes from the small figure. Corresponding side 5 comes from the large figure. And then the other pair will be 2 to 3 and X to 7.5. X is in the numerator because it's from the small figure. 7.5 is from the large figure. We already know how to solve these. We do it by cross multiplying. So 3y equals 10. Divide both sides by 3. Y equals 10/3 or 3 1/3. Please do not type it in your calculator and get a repeating decimal, because then you'll want to either chop it off or round, and it will not be an exact value. We are looking for exact values only. Cross multiplying on the next one, we get 3x equals 15. Divide both sides by 5 and x equals 5. So there's the values of our two variables. You'll see on the worksheet that we have you practicing all of these different ideas, the finding missing values, deciding if polygons are similar, pairing up corresponding sides to write the similarity ratios, and then pairing up the angles and proportional sides and writing those ratios and the similarity statements. So good luck. Hope to see you soon.